Thank you so much for stopping by with Love Mom in my kitchen on today. I'm sorry, but we have been out for a few weeks. Well, I have been out for a few weeks. We had a little illness and a couple of viruses running around, and then we got a lot going on in the Brown household. So had to get some things situated, but we are back and we are on it. So don't judge me. Anyway, so today in Love Mom's kitchen, we're going to do something a little bit simple. I'm going to show you guys a couple of different takes on toast. And everybody's into the avocado toast now. You know, you see avocado toast 10 ways, avocado toast 5 ways, all over the place. Well, what about those that want to eat healthy, but they don't really like avocado? I love avocado, but I have a son that does not like avocado at all. So I'm trying to look at some different ways to give you some things you could do instead of avocado toast. So just stay tuned, keep watching, look what's happening in the kitchen. Okay guys, since everybody's on the avocado toast rage, we're going to do something a little different for those that do not like avocado. I love them, but some people do not like them. One of my sons is one of them. He's just not an avocado person. So I'm going to show you a couple of other toasts that you could do so that you can still enjoy, you know, the toast, or you can use it for breakfast, for a snack. So I'm going to make one that's for breakfast and one for snack. The first one that we're going to work on is the one that I make for snack. Well, one of the ones anyway. I'm using actually a blend of tomatoes. They come in a package. I get them at Costco's like this. You can get them at any grocery store, but I get a big bag, big box, big container at Costco. Sorry, I can't talk today. And they're all different types of tomatoes, so that you can have a lot of dimensions of flavor. Because even though people would normally say tomato is tomato, but all tomatoes really don't taste the same, and they really don't do the same. So, you know, this will give you a pretty good dimension. So what we're making first is the tomato toast. And as you can see, I'm just taking a few of the tomatoes and I'm cutting them in half. Okay, because we're going to make us like a tomato type sauce. It's not a real sauce because the tomatoes are still going to be chunky, and we're going to make that to go on the toast. I already have some toast in the oven. I prefer my toast out of the oven because to me it's just a better way to have it, because you still kind of get the crunch along with a little bit of the softness. And I'm using sourdough bread today. So we're doing the tomato toast first. Okay, so we're going to put this in the bowl. Give me 1 second. I'm going to clean this off, and then we're going to get it ready. Okay, so now that we got our tomatoes cut, we're going to cut up some onion. I have a half of a purple onion. Excuse me. I'm not going to use the entire onion because I'm going to use some of this onion for our other toast. And I'm just going to slice it as thin as I possibly can, because you want them to caramelize and get all nice and pretty as you're sauteing them, because we're going to saute these. And that should be enough there. Well, let's do one more. Okay, that should be enough. Sorry, I'm going to put this back in my little Ziploc bag. That's how I keep my onions fresh, guys, is with a Ziploc bag. You can use, I like the little onion holder thing, but sometimes I don't want to use the onion holder for small pieces, so I just put them in a Ziploc bag. So we cut them in half rings, and then I'm going to cut those half rings in half, because I'm going to use half in the tomato and half in our other toast that we're doing. Okay, so now we're going to take those and put that half that we just pulled away and put it in the bowl with the tomatoes. Now, with those tomatoes, I'm going to do a small piece of roasted red pepper and cut it up. Now, roasted red pepper you're going to find in a jar. The one thing that I hate about roasted red peppers in a jar is that you'll find them in a jar in the grocery store, but you always get like these huge pieces. It's like, I don't want all that. It comes out of the jar and you're going, I don't want all that. I just want a little bit. Yeah, I know, I'm petty. when it comes to stuff like that. So I'm just going to cut up a little bit of the roasted red pepper, and you see I just use just a tad. You can put in however much you want, or you can leave it out, but this is just something that I like. Okay, so now we're going to season it. So we're going to put a little oil on it, just a little bit of olive oil, so that our seasonings can adhere to the tomatoes, because some would say the tomatoes are hard to season, but not if you put just a tad bit of oil. It doesn't have to be a lot. And then you're going to use your hands and mix that around. Okay? Yes, and I remember I always say the best tools are 2 clean hands. Best kitchen tools are 2 clean hands. Okay, in this we're going to put a pinch of salt. A couple of pinches, just 2. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of smoked paprika. Ooh, that came out fast. About a teaspoon. A little bit of coriander seed, dried powder. About a teaspoon of that. And a little bit of pepper. I am using white pepper today. I prefer white pepper. And then we're going to mix all of that around. Okay. Now to this we're going to add just a little bit of chopped parsley. And then we're going to go over to the stove and get it cooking. Okay, so now we're over here at the stove, and we're going to take our tomato mixture here that we've made, and as you can see I've put some chopped parsley in. That's the flat leaf Italian parsley, and we're going to drop that into a pan. Pan is already heated with just a tad bit of olive oil at the bottom, and we're going to drop that in the pan and stir that around a little bit. You don't want your fire on completely high, but you want it on like medium high, so that it does go ahead and saute and caramelize your onions and break down your tomatoes. Because remember now, when you use this tomato blend, some of these tomatoes are green tomatoes, so they're not that ripe, so they're going to be a little tougher, so you want it to break it down. Now to this mixture we're going to add about a teaspoon and a half of Worcestershire sauce. Give it a little extra and remember we already seasoned it in the bowl, so you really don't have to put any seasoning in it unless you just want to. And we're going to put about 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar in. Alright, because it seems to be going really well now. And as you can see, the tomatoes are starting to soften. That's what you want. Because you want kind of like a relish type, but not really. My spoon and mashing my tomatoes. Yes, I'm doing it on purpose because I want them mashed. I still want the chunkiness, but I want to break them down. So I'm mashing them with the back of the spoon. And as you can see, remember I told you the green ones are going to be a little harder because they're green tomatoes. They're not that ripe, but they're still good. Alright. So, that is looking really, really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the top on this, cut it down to a medium heat, and just let it bubble for about 3 or 4 minutes so that those tomatoes can get all the way soft. Okay, it's been about 3 or 4 minutes. So now I'm going back in and look at how easily my tomatoes mash, which is good. So this is about done. So what we're going to do is you're going to turn your fire on low. Very, very low, like simmer, like all the way down. You're going to put it on simmer and let it simmer just about 2 minutes so that those flavors can really marry each other. Okay guys, so now for our next toast, we're going to do a poached egg toast. And instead of a hollandaise sauce, we're going to use a gorgonzola sauce that I love to make. First, you're going to start off with boiled water, of course. And as you can see, I'm pouring something in. That is vinegar. You're going to pour about a 1/4 cup of white vinegar in. Okay. Now, you need a slotted spoon for this. And keep in mind that when you're poaching eggs, it's basically in the swirl of it, and it's also about the vinegar in the water. But you don't want to drop any kind of shells or anything as you're just cracking the egg in. So you crack your egg into a ramekin or a small bowl or something like this, and it makes it a little easier. So as the water's boiling, you cut your water down to medium high, and then you just drop in your egg. Now that egg is going to go ahead and start cooking itself. So then you take your spoon and you swirl around the pan. Okay, and when you swirl, it's going to let it cook some more. And depending on how hard you like your yolk, I like mine very, very soft. Run it even. I don't cook mine for too long. It only takes a couple of minutes to make a poached egg. And when you swirl, you're going to swirl it kind of slow. You can actually do 2 or 3 poached eggs in a pot at the same time, and they will never, if you do it right, they won't adhere to each other. But since it's just me eating it, I'm only doing 1. Then you're going to take your slotted spoon and get your egg out. Take our slotted spoon, and there's our poached egg. So I'm going to drop that in until I'm ready to put it on, drop it in a little ramekin until I'm ready to put it on my toast. I'm sorry. There you go. So that is done. So what we're going to do is use about getting started on our sauce. We're going to use about 1/2 cup of milk. Using a little almond milk because I don't want to make it bad for me. Cut your fire on to medium. And I know you can hear the sizzle in the background over there. That is our onions sauteing to go on our toast with our eggs, with our poached eggs. Okay, so now that we have our milk on the stove in a pot, we have started warming it, and what you're doing is you're waiting for it to bubble just a tad. You don't want it to boil, just bubble. Now, as it starts to bubble, which it looks like it is, finally. As it starts to bubble, I'm sorry, I'm a one-man show today with the camera, so as the milk starts to bubble, you're going to take some gorgonzola, just a piece, and you're going to break it up into the milk. Now you can buy gorgonzola already crumbled. I like my cheese in hunks like this. But you can buy it already crumbled. But sometimes when it's already crumbled, it kind of takes away the fun for me. But you can buy it already crumbled. So as we crumble it into our milk, oops, I'm dropping stuff. We're going to take our whisk and whisk it around into that milk because you want it to melt down. Okay? So now as it's melting, it'll start to thicken. Your milk will start to thicken, or your sauce will start to thicken as this cheese is melted into it. So we're going to let that simmer for a minute. We're going to cut it down to medium or medium low. You don't want it on medium high because you don't want to cook this too fast. This is not something that you can walk away from. You really need to kind of stand over it. And you can use different cheeses. You don't have to use gorgonzola if you don't want to. But I have found when I'm eating poached eggs or I'm doing like an eggs benedict with a spin on it, that the gorgonzola gives it a really nice flavor. So we're going to let that simmer a minute, and then we're going to come back and check on it. Alright guys, and this looks really, really good. So, and it's thin enough. It's not really super thick, but it's thick enough and not too thin. And see how beautiful it looks in there? It looks nice. And so we're going to turn the fire off. And keep in mind, guys, that you guys can use whatever kind of cheese you like. It's just a cream sauce, basically, with a little cheese in it. And you can put a little flour in it to thicken it up, or a little cornstarch if you want it a little thicker. And you can use whatever cheese you like, but keep in mind that the harder more dense aged cheeses are better for you, like Parmesan, Gorgonzola, you know, cheeses that don't melt that easy, you know. So, all right, this is ready. I'm cutting that off, and we're going to put together our toast. Alrighty guys, now it's time to assemble our lovely toast. So the first one we're going to assemble is our tomato toast. So you're just going to take one piece of toast, and as I told you, I'm using sourdough. I just like those kind of breads a little better. And you're going to just spread your tomato mixture on top of the toast. Oops, made a mess. Oh, made another mess. Just spread the tomato mixture right on top. And this mixture here actually tastes really good on pasta as well. My husband loves it. Okay, so you're gonna spread that on top. Leave that there. Sorry, I forgot my piece de resistance. And I'm gonna take a little bit of dill weed and just sprinkle it right on top of that. And there we have it, tomato toast. Now for our Eggs Benedict toast. I'm going to put it on the same plate. I'm going to sit it right there. Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sauteed onions and lay those down first. Sorry. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the rest of my tomato mixture that I had and lay that down on there first. And this has your sauteed onions and some tomatoes and everything in it. So you're getting veggies and all that in with it. Okay. Then I'm going to take my poached egg and just roll it on top. And you got to be gentle with a poached egg now, because it will break on you. Okay. I'm going to take some of my cheese sauce that I put together and pour that on top. Look at that. And then top that with a little cheese. There we go. And there you have it, your Eggs Benedict toast and some tomato toast. You can breakfast, snack, or breakfast or snack. Alrighty, my loves, there you have it. We have made us a couple of toasts 2 different ways. We made one with a poached egg and some things on top, and then we made a tomato toast that is absolutely delicious. You can use the poached egg one for breakfast, or you can use the tomato one for lunch or a snack, or you can flip-flop. Doesn't really matter. It's just a good way to have something to eat. It's kind of light. You don't have a lot going on with it. It's still pretty healthy, and it's absolutely delicious. Now with my poached eggs, which I didn't show you in the video, and I'm sorry, but my poached eggs, I actually like to, after I drop it on my toast, sprinkle a little salt and pepper on top. You don't have to do that, but you can. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you take a chance and try these recipes, and try a recipe with or share this with someone who is looking for different ways to have good food, healthy food, that might want to give it a try. So I would appreciate it if you would go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you saw, and then share this video with someone else. What are we going to do? We are going to subscribe, we are going to thumbs up, and we're going to share. And I thank you so very much for stopping by for this quick video. I really appreciate you taking the time out to make me part of your life on today. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed day. I love you, love you, love you. Happy cooking.